Hello and welcome to another episode of Great Wolf Effects, where I'm going to be reviewing Bandai's 112 scale Battle Droid and STAP figure. So with this kit, I love it. I love the way it is. Yes, I have the same thing I've said with the other Bandai figure. The only thing is that there are some things I would have a little gripes over, but overall its design, I love it. And as a fun fact for me, I've always loved the Battle Droid design ever since I saw it in Episode 1 of Phantom Menace. So for me, this is just like an overall win there. Problem is that now they're just getting a little hard to find, so that's the only little downside about this particular model. So, just reviewing it so y'all can see it, I guess. And let's get right into it then. So focusing on the kit itself, Bandai made really good detail for him. There are some maybe minor details they missed, but I mean that's just if you're trying to be really accurate, which it's not too important. But it was just like mainly like little rivets here and there, whatever. But for the most part, they got the detail just right, and it looks just the way it should from the movies, or based on what you see in the movies, and that's the best part of it all. You can kind of notice that he is leaning a little bit forward, but that's because, unfortunately, the ankle joints aren't that strong. So I guess that's one of my negative parts of this kit that I don't really like so much, is that the ankle joints are pretty weak to the point where it can't even hold itself up, meaning you kind of have to be forced to put it on the stop. And then even then, that could cause another issue where the joints can actually open up. But in another video, I'm going to make another video, and I'll post it pretty much right after I finish this one, in how to fix that. It's an easy fix, provided you have at least the skills as well as the experience and the tools you would need. So that's just, I'll put that later on. But you can see here with the details there, it's just, yeah, it's really great. And I'm still amazed that the arms and legs are not made of multiple parts. They're just like one solid piece. Yes, you have to put in the thigh, and then you have to put those little calf parts, and on the arms, well, it's pretty much nothing else you got to do except for the thumbs. But I mean, like, I'm still amazed that Bandai can make the injection like that, and it still works somehow. I don't even know how they do it. It's like magic. And here we have another shot here where he's taking a battle pose and just firing the E5 blaster, and he's got pretty good, articulation to do that. Is very limited on the gut, unfortunately, so you can't really turn. On the legs, it's just not too much articulation that can be done. And it doesn't swivel around the thigh area, it just moves around on a ball joint. Here's a close-up view of the E5 blaster on the battle droid, and you can see a little bit of the details that are going in there. Don't mind my bad black wash that I did on there, but you can see some of the details there. I need to kind of emphasize the metallic parts on there. Here we can have him where he's holding another accessory of his, which would be the macro binoculars. And here's just a little shot right there what it would look like if you have more than one of them, which honestly would be really good to have. So here's a nice roundabout view of the STAP model, and it's molded really well. It's got some pretty good details. It doesn't do much, unfortunately. And here's a little quick pic of my second one that I modified to be like the way as seen in the Clone Wars. Of course, it looks more realistic than it does in the Clone Wars, but this is my best attempt at it, and honestly, I'm quite pleased with it. And it's like a periwinkle blue that I used from Krylon, and everything else I just hand-painted. So here's a nice roundabout view of the kit put together with the STAP as seen in Episode 1, Phantom Menace, and overall, it's a pretty big kit. It's about 8.5 inches, or just under 8.5 inches for the STAP. So putting him in there, it's probably about a good almost 9 inches tall. But yeah, it's pretty great, honestly. My only issue or concern is that it does bend the leg a little bit, or the ankles, so that's the downside. For arm articulation, you can see that it just moves pretty well, especially around over and about. Ab crunch and head. And then we have the arms going outward with the shoulders. Finally, we have the neck articulation, and lastly, a surprise, as seen from Episode 1. For the things that come included with this kit are obviously the battle droid himself, along with the display base. Comes with the STAP, micro binoculars, secondary antenna without the battery pack itself, adapter for the C-3PO, so you can put the battle droid head, the adapter for the battle droid, so it can go on C-3PO, and then you also have the little adapter for the hand and the blaster. And lastly, although you can't really see it very well, you also have the little peg that goes on top of the clear display base for the STAP. You get 2 of those, but the second one is useless, I guess, unless you lose the other one for whatever reason. So there's just that. Here's what it would look like if you have either the battery pack or it's without the battery pack. And ultimately, that's up to your preference. For me, I prefer it with the battery pack. I like that look a lot better. But, you know, it's just whatever you want to decide to do. So here's just a quick little demonstration of how to put the little adapter there that I mentioned. So what you do is you fit it in between the little ring, the finger guard that you have. This is the very easy peg there. And from there, what it is you just... I'm assuming that the C-3PO kit already comes with a small little opening on the hand where it'll fit through. This way, again, you can make the Geonosian version. Just make sure to paint it silver, of course. But other than that, it's a very simple thing to do. So, pretty neat that they didn't include that. And I'm not going to get a C-3PO kit. So overall, I would say is that this kit is pretty great. I love it the way it looks. Some of the extra little gimmicks that it has, I really like. Some of the other things I wish they would have done differently, but they didn't. So making the antennas a little bit more like metal based, but that's just a small little gripe. I'll modify that later. The other thing that I would have to give points deducted for is the thumb pieces will come off pretty quickly, and lastly is the fact that the ankle joints are very weak. But overall, I definitely would pick this kit up still, if you're a fan for the first movie and all that. Of course, not for Jar Jar Binks. Anyways, you all have yourselves a good day. May it stay safe, and may the Force be with you.